stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carlos?
Father God, we just thank you again for another day before it is for us to continue to do district business. Lord God, and we just ask you that you give us wisdom and knowledge, Lord, to understand each of the agenda items, Lord, and that we make the correct decisions on these items as we move forward. Just guide us in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Item 4, consider and discuss for possible approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 28, 2018. Everyone had a chance to read those. Any comments, suggestions, or changes?
I move to approve.
Motion made by D. Wells, seconded by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. For the record, I abstain. I was absent from the meeting. Motion passes.
You were.
Oh, 20th, right, I was here. Sorry.
Vote.
I vote, I'm in favor, yes. All in favor? Motion carries.
Aye.
Moving to item number 5, General Manager's Report, ECDRS Conference.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I just wanted to mention that the TCDRS is scheduled to come in August the 8th for a presentation to the board. And also, only the next week is the conference itself. We will be attending the conference next week, and I think it's myself, Eddie, and Mary Gilmore. So just to give you an update on it, it will be next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And they're going to come and present to us also?
August 8th, correct. After the conference, we'll be here in August 8th. Just want to let you guys know that we're going to be out next the 17, 18, and 19, 18, 19, and 20 the following week. And the conference will be, TCDRS representatives will be doing a presentation to the board on the 8th of August.
My question is, will they be doing that in a regular meeting, or is that going to be an extra meeting? Just during a regular meeting, so it'll be a short presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to 6, District Engineers Report, Carl.
Yeah, so first is the wastewater flow monitoring from our, at that problem we did back in 2012, recommended us to start the flow monitoring program for wastewater. And so we ended up renting 6 meters, and we installed, South Metro Island, 2 quarter flow, and 2 meters to recording flows for driveway. And plus, we also got that rainfall on Friday, so that was good to get the wet weather event when we were recording that data. So we'll be able to use that. We'll get radiation data from Control Center and the Port Color Report, and just set up with our flows so we can see the percentage of rainfall shooting for food. And that'll help us calibrate the model, size our pumps for location and that sort of thing. So that's basically what we've been doing the past week.
Is there any way to determine the inflow that we had last week?
Yeah, actually, since we did.
Have you done it yet?
Well, I still need to get the flow numbers. We did level and velocity, and so the flow volumes are calculated. So I'll have all the data to find out how much it's
That's my name and your name.
and so and then it's the next item is the status of our financial application. We did submit the next water development board, and it was just very administrative. So now we're proceeding to the next one. So it's moving forward.
Congratulations on that, to be administrative complete. That's always a challenge.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the rest of the report.
Thank you, Charles. Moving to 7, consider and discuss for possible approval an amendment to existing electric energy contract with Cavallo Energy Texas LLC and the district.
Chairman, members of the board again. I have Ruben de los Santos, our representative for Cavallo, and he wanted to give a short presentation to the board on the amendment to the existing agreement. And if you have any questions, then you can answer. Next card, this is got a old wood stick where I can provide a hand out.
Oh, yes, there it is. Is it on? There you go.
All right. Thank you all for having me over. My name's Ruben Los Santos. I'm with the Bioenergy Techs. I represent the General Land Office State Power Program. And just going to provide the board and district with a quick energy market update and background information about the General Land Office. Can you all see that okay? Yep. So GLO sells natural gas and electricity to public retail customers. Been selling gas since 1983 and comparative electricity since 2000. It's the only retail electric provider who directly utilizes a true interlocal agreement, and whose proceeds benefit the public education for the permanent school fund. We serve about 500 public retail consumers, over 25,000 service locations, about 6.5 billion kilowatt hours annually. GLO is actually one of the largest retail providers in the state. A lot of folks don't know that because we don't advertise. It's a more inclusive price structure because the GLO does not request or seek reimbursement of gross receipt taxes or public utility commission assessment fees. So the district benefits by this taxation benefit. The GLO program benefits public education school fund, and PSF guaranteed $74.3 billion in ISD bonds and distributed $1.1 billion for fiscal year 17 to public education. So it's really the driving force behind public education. The program is here to serve and benefit public retail customers, and it's only available to public retail customers, and we only serve the GLO. So that's our main purpose in mind. So some recent activity that has occurred in the market, recent price action has driven generation reserves lower. Warm weather and demand growth have reversed the pricing scenario that we were accustomed to over the last few years. Basically, near-term prices have gone up significantly, whereas long-term prices have gone down, have stayed down. So the curves are a little different, actually a lot different than when the district contracted with GLO the last two times. In particular, 2018 and 19 prices were trading significantly higher. This doesn't impact the district because the district actually locked into these when the market was low. So, great job in doing that. Market volatility and unpriced consumption are ultimate risk for public customers unless a good price strategy is in place, and that's kind of what I'm here to discuss with the district. The district, the Middle Water District, can lock into the state power program because of our interlocal relationship. At any, sorry, my trip. I'm coming from corporate, by the way.
She doesn't think you're here.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. And the water district's contract is priced to the loads, and basically the only pass-through costs that the district sees are AEP wires charges, and those are based on regulated tariffs. So, to the market, this is an interesting picture. It kind of speaks 1,000 words. This shows planned megawatt. This is ERCOT. This is all of the state right now. Planned megawatts
megawatts that are currently installed and peak load forecast. So in a nutshell, this year and next year, ERCOT basically was expecting for there to be more generation than what's available. And so what's occurred is we've had a tighter reserve margin. There's a report that ERCOT comes out with called SARA report, Seasonal Adequacy Resource Report, and they were expecting for the reserve margins to be significantly higher. ERCOT came back and said, well, you know, they're not going to be what we thought we were. And by reserve margin, I mean the available generation that is there at the peak of ERCOT's load. This is, we monitor this to ensure there's no brownouts, blackouts, things of that nature. So this goes, you know, from 2019 to 2023, and the light blues are basically megawatts per plant. So this is kind of where I have an issue with pricing and where the market will go. These are planned megawatts. These are planned power plants that are going to be constructed. But there's no guarantee that these will get built. And if that occurs, I mean, if these power plants are shelved, we'll certainly see power prices go up for these outer years. The best pricing values right now are in the outer years, 2023, 24, 25. And the highest pricing periods are the near-term pricing periods. So it's a big economic model, you know, with our robust economy, how much industrial demand is coming online, you know, how many plants are planned, how many are actually going to get built. So nobody really knows the answers to these. There's just guys out there that make a prediction, and there's a mark for power prices in the future. The one other thing is that we've actually had a very mild year. We've had mild years over the last several years. Really since 2011, the years have been, relative to cooling degree days, they've been pretty mild. So weather is really the biggest variable with power. It's kind of like farming. If the weather is not good to us and there's not adequate generation, that'll drive prices up. And conversely, if it's still mild, you can get all this stuff built. This is just a snapshot of power prices, wholesale power prices, and this goes from 2019 to 2025. The highest price period is 19. I don't have 18 up here, but 18 would be up in the 50 range. And these are wholesale. This is or 5 cents per kilowatt. These are wholesale prices. And then you can see that the longer you go, the lower prices you get. And that's a very different trend than what we've seen in the past years. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the district now. That's about the market. So the district locked in a 3-year contract in December of 2015. Later, the district added an additional 16-month term. This was in August of 2017 via contract amendment. The first contract goes from Jan 2016 to the end of 2018, so we're in it right now. And the contract price is 3.821 cents to the load total. So that price, that's if you wanted a contract for that period right now, you'd probably be 2 cents higher. The market's been that all the time. So the district entered into an amendment after that period and entered into a 60-month contract that hasn't even begun yet. But looking back, it was a great thing to do. That'll begin Jan 2019 and go through April 2020. So you're actually going to go to a lower price at 3.721 to the load to everything included. That period right now is well over 5 cents. So it's just a function of the market and how volatile it can be and really how expensive things can get. The district uses about 9.2 million kilowatt hours a year across 51 different meters. And like I was saying, if the district had to lock into a 36-month agreement now, they pay about 5.1 cents, which would be a little over a penny increase, about $118,000 more annually. And cost of the district, $300,000 over a 3-year term.
If we, would that scrap the contracts we have now, or would it just add 3 years to the contracts we have now? In other words, you say it would be, if we go to a 3-year contract, we'd actually pay more.
Yes, if you had to, right.
But right now, we're locked into 20.
You're locked in, right, you're golden. Yeah, you're paying well below market prices right now. This is the only good thing about deregulation, that you can take forward positions and manage your risk by locking in.
Right, and back when we did that in 2015 and 16, energy costs were less, so I'm assuming that's why the rates are lower. Energy costs are higher now.
Right.
And so they're up. We don't know what they're going to be by the time we get to 2021.
Right.
They could be
double.
Or a lot less.
Or somewhat less.
You
I
can
mean,
buy now at a more expensive rate, but blends it out, is kind of where it goes. It gives you a lower price for a longer time.
But are we, I guess we're interrupting your presentation, but if we went to a 3-year extension now, are we negating the lower prices that we have, or are we going to tack them on the end of our extension that we have?
so that's what you would tack them at the end of your extension.
So they'd kick in April 20,
That's correct. In May of 2020.
May of 20.
And that's what these are. These are actually current market prices if you all wanted to enter into a contract now that would begin May of 2020. And you can see all these numbers are higher.
And then that's when the rates would increase.
Right, that's when the rates.
If you blend that price, today's price with the price of the future, that's how you get that higher number for the 36 months. If you signed a 36-month price today, is that kind of how that works?
No, this is a standalone May 20 start. There's no blend when you're listening. It's just a function of the market's just really screened up for the near term. Luckily, the district's locked in for those periods. They're not worried about having to execute a contract that's coming up the next month. So really, the only thing that the district needs to consider is a strategy May 2020 going forward. So
Yeah.
time is really the most valuable thing that you can have.
So that's what we're shopping, because I'm not really clear, that's what we're shopping for, is
Right.
beyond May of 20.
Right.
May of 2020.
And he does have a proposal to
Right.
an
All right, well-
amendment.
Okay.
I have more questions after we finish this.
Well, let me ask you this. Your prior bar graph, you showed 2020s in the future, a significant increase in reserves over current demand. And if that were to be the case, I would expect prices to come down.
If new plants are being built.
Well, but that's what he's indicated. you
Right.
know,
Yeah, so if you look at this graph right here, the 2020 is the red line, the second line from the top. And if you compare that to 2016, it's higher than when you all locked in. That's why it's a higher price.
No, I'm not talking, go back to the graph a few back.
Oh, this one right here.
That graph.
Yeah,
There's a significant amount of reserve starting in 21, 22, and 23.
right.
And the market type of guy I am, I would think that would actually drive prices down.
So, and that's an excellent point, and I'm glad you're bringing that up. So this graph is to me speaks 1,000 words, because it's a graph of what's expected. Now, what's expected and what actually happened are two different things. Power plants cost a lot of money to build. And in my opinion, until shovels in the ground, and actually earth movers, some of those plants won't get built. So if that happens, the reserve margin will tighten up. These are futures, and this is what the traders are looking at. And so it's providing a nice market buying opportunity out into the future. So that's the question. I mean, yeah, if everything were to go as planned, if everything gets built, the weather, the normal, yeah, we could see prices come down.
And that goes along with Mr. Houston's question, and when you first stated that on this graph here, on the speculation of more plants being built, if they were built, rates would be higher because they were built. But you're saying, if I recall, you said that if they're not built, our rates won't be as high.
If they are built. So
And that goes reverse of my thinking also, that, you know, we have more supply
more supply.
available,
Right, well, more supply, less demand.
but we're really just sitting here, we're just playing trader speculating
That's
on,
exactly right, we're speculating.
on that, so
Right.
this is like, who cares?
It's information that's available in the marketplace, and that's kind of what traders utilize to set marks for power prices out in the future. And that's what we do. We go into a hedge power based on gas contracts, and so yeah, this is PB had a big project they were planning to do with Tenasco. I think it was last year, 2 years ago, and that went south. Big 400, 600 megawatt plant that didn't work out. The fundamental problem right now is with power, is that the wholesale market, the way the market rules are set, wholesale suppliers, or wholesale generators are incumbent on index prices. Index prices have been very, very low. The generation industry needs scarcity events, price scarcity events. Nobody knows when that's going to happen. In the old world, when it was CP&L, and I worked for CP&L for 10 years, and it was regulated. In the old world, the PUC would say, hey, you need a plant here, plant here, plant here, build 3 plants, socialize the costs, we're going to the rate base, all's done. Now, you got to have a merchant generator that's willing to pony up a lot of money, and the market rules that are in place right now are just really not, in my opinion, are just not very good for this kind of investment.
That's a consequence of competition or deregulation?
T-reg, the way the market rules in D-reg.
Alternative energy.
That's a good point. Alternative energy, all this solar and all this wind that's got such government subsidies also kind of make things very, very difficult to predict.
But it's really, would say or think that it's also from the competitive nature of the energy retailers. We're all getting bombarded with, change your plan to this because we'll lower your rate.
I mean, honestly, the biggest winners in today's industry are third-party calls. Those are the guys that are they really don't have a lot of skin in the game, but they can tack on their fees to power prices.
Okay.
Generators are in the pitch right now. So, good questions. So these are current prices. They're higher than the district's current contract price, future contract price. Now, they're higher, but granted, we're actually in a good place even with this. These are relative to the markets at the beginning of D-reg. These are good power prices compared to when natural gas was at the $13 and $14 per MMBTU range. Our prices were really high back then. So relative to what we've seen, and I've been doing this since the market opened, the pricing environment is still really good. It's just hard to hit the very low points. So, like I said, timing is real valuable with respect to buying power. The district can utilize the interlocal relationship that it has with the land office to purchase power legally at any point in time. Through the GLO, we don't assess broker fees or consultant fees, or seek reimbursement of social receipt tax or public utility commission assessment fees, and this provides substantial monetary benefits for our customers. So strategically, the district can establish targets for future contract terms, and lock in now to avoid market risk, or it can execute a market watch agreement. And a market watch, basically, I'm going to jump to this next slide. A market watch basically enables us to seamlessly lock in a contract, or it'd be an amendment, actually, the second amendment, if and when the target price is reached. Because prices change every day within the day for all different terms, it's good to give yourself a lot of latitude. Best price might be a 24, best price might be a 33 or 48, because power is actually priced in 15-minute increments. There's a price for every single 15 minutes of the day. And these prices are always changing. So through this strategy, we basically establish a price not to exceed a certain amount and a term not to exceed a certain amount. What this does is it allows us to price daily instead of selecting a stamped time where nobody knows where the market will be, and basically allows us to get a sweet spot for the market for the district. So the market watch amendment before the board would be a price not to exceed 0.0415 kilowatt hour, so it's about 2/10 less than the prevailing price. For a term to be at least 24, not to exceed 84 months, would be somewhere in that range where we might find that target price that the market offered, and then basically would expire after a year of entering into an agreement. So 360 days, if we were to sign an agreement tonight or tomorrow, basically would expire a year from now.
But would that price watch be a buy order to me? Would that be kind of, how would that be based on what number? Would that be a number that we take today, or we anytime in the future, for example? Whatever we're paying now, if it ever gets back down to that level again, our buy order would kick in.
Right.
Am I correct?
So the market watch amendment would have this target price of not to exceed 415.
Why?
Well, that's just an arbitrary number. We could set that.
That was my, okay, so it's just.
Something different, right?
Right.
Now, we could set it for 2 cents and,
Yeah.
We'll probably hammer it. So it's just a way to keep watching the market, grab a price that's better than prevailing market prices, and utilizing the time that the district has left on the contract, because that's very valuable if you strategize around it. Now these values can be changed. I mean, you can use a more aggressive price target. Just bear in mind, I mean, those prices that we hit the last time, those could be all-time low. I can't guarantee that, but that was a very, very low time in the market.
Well, we knew that at the time, and that's why we amended again to kind of lock in. We were taking advantage of.
And actually, and at that time, the short-term price was the best on the board. The long-term was 5/10, 6/10 of a cent higher, and that's totally flip-flop. So this long-term pricing has dropped so much. I just don't know if it's going to be that way in a year or 2 or 3 years.
None of us do, but we know it'll go up, and it'll come down, and it'll go up again.
It's going to do both. It'll go up, it'll go down. So this allows us to.
Yeah.
This allows us to monitor it and
It's gotta come down.
to strike, when the target price is reached. Basically, when it's reached, we would, and it very well will be lower than the target price set. We would provide an amendment to the district, signifying the term, be it 33 or 34 at 0.04 cents, 0.040 cents. So, but it allows us to move very, very, very quickly.
Could the agreement be canceled before it got, let's say we see a downturn, can we cancel the agreement if we were to see prices start down?
We'd probably strike before you wanted to cancel. I mean, that'd be
Well,
the,
what I'm saying is, could you cancel it if you thought prices were gonna go lower than the .41 and put in a market watch at .39 or something like that? That's what I'm asking.
the way the agreement's written now, we're gonna be able to.
Non-cancelable.
Because I mean, we'd be, we could Jason price constantly and we're not gonna be in a situation where, oh, we're here, let's just wait, because you don't know if it's gonna go up again. So this is the, I think is a really good strategy to utilize for the time that it has on hand.
At the end, I've got a question.
Yes.
Okay, we have a copy of your email you sent to Carlos, and in that email, you referenced that the district is able to contract directly with the GLO and avoid the 3% or third-party fees to brokers,
Right.
which are about 3%, 3 cents per kilowatt reduction. So what was that?
So if you had a brokerage, a brokerage basically incorporate a fee into the contract price.
Middleman fee.
Yeah, middleman fee, right? So if there was a broker involved, for instance, in this transaction, your 12-month price, and let's say the broker charges 0.3 cents, your contract price would be 5 cents. 527, 10527. It's an extremely lucrative business, and there's like 5,000 brokers running around the state. You don't need a license to do this. So the intent of the program is not to have brokers coming between the land offices offering and customers.
Well, that's where I'm not clear. In your position with the general land office, representing them, is that something that, you know, you could say would be advantageous to the district to take advantage of not having the middleman?
Yes, absolutely.
So would that be something that can be originated when? When could, if the district decided to do that, how could we take and directly work with the general land office and not use brokers, or are we using a broker now?
You're not using a broker. You're using the.
So this is not relative to what we are under contract with now. We've already got the direct contact with the general land office, and we're not paying any middleman.
That's correct.
Thank you.
That's correct. I mean, basically, this would be the same agreement, same terms, same conditions, same power products.
On the EGSP actual, is that a number that will fluctuate or can fluctuate in the future?
Yes. And those are AEP's costs.
Right.
And those have been going up since the beginning of DRIG. They've been climbing.
And that's always something you're going to pass on to us.
We're always going to pass it through to regulated costs. As it goes up, though, you actually get the tax benefit that you receive through the land office actually increases. Because the gross receipt and PUC are based on both energy and TDS.
So the higher the transmission cost goes up, we get a rebate on it?
And, yeah, in a sense, right. The tax,
We save
the tax benefit will grow. Or if the city's population grows as well. I'm not sure what the population is for it only 6,000? Pretty close. 10,000 is the mark. At 10,000, it turns into a 2% reimbursement for GRT. But that's something that the GLO doesn't assess. So yeah, there's inherent future tax benefits that are also part of this program.
Just speculating, and that's what we're doing, discussing, you know, what the energy costs are going to be in the future, electric costs are going to be in the future. And we don't have a crystal ball, and we're trying to, you know, you've already acknowledged that we have a sweet deal until May 2020.
This is July of 2018.
Right.
It's 22 months.
Thank you.
Good shape.
So we're pretty good. So to speak for myself, I don't think we need to rock the boat trying to add another period of time at a higher rate, because in those 22 months, things are going to go up and down. And if anything, we put a market watch on and strike then. My thoughts at this point, gentlemen.
One, also, if, for like future projects, if the district is looking at incorporating some, measure to bring some of that electrical, that energy cost, to bring it in-house, does that affect our contract? To possibly, like, if we're gonna consider a huge project, if we're gonna look at possibly putting up a windmill, trying to generate some of our own energy, to bring some of our costs down, does that affect the contract that we have?
No, because it's net metering.
You can, I mean, you can, the contract that you have in place actually will accommodate renewable power. But Mr. Wells is right, it would probably be more of a net metering type situation.
So you could get that, because if you generated X amount of energy, kilowatts.
Reverse metering, it's called.
Thank you. Well, yeah, but net in the sense that it's reverse because you're pushing the meter backwards, but it's net because you're gonna push in, and when the wind's not blowing, you're gonna use energy, so it's gonna be the net between the two.
I'm just curious if that has any effect on.
No, I mean, and it will have some effect. I mean, you'll use less power, we've taken a position on a certain amount of power, but, you know, contract provisions have, there's some allowances for added type of generation. At these power prices, any kind of renewable is going to be, these prices are going to be very, very difficult. Like even with the taxes, it's pretty low.
My understanding of the windmills, they're making money on the kickbacks when they got from the last administration, and they're really not that lucrative anymore. That's why you're not seeing them being built more. It wasn't that they were generating a lot of power, making a lot of money, but under the programs, the incentive programs that were paid to put them in, that's where they're making the money. And that's just what I've been told and understand.
So the district, I mean, you mentioned, Mr. Wells, rocking the boat. You really wouldn't be rocking the boat at all on the existing term. That's locked in.
Right, but we would be burdening the district, or actually today could burden the district beyond 2020, May 2020.
You would.
And so we could shoot ourselves in the foot today by contracting for a price that might be higher then than what it actually was.
That's definitely, that's an accurate statement. But
That's my concern.
It could be, I guess my point, and I've been doing this for a long time, I have a lot of colleagues, this outer term pricing, we've never seen this before. So, and I'm not saying the sky's falling or anything like that, but these power prices have been twice as high. And there's no guarantee that they won't be twice as high in 2 years. So the other option is, of course, you know, the district can establish a lower target price. You could even establish the target price at its current market price. I don't know if we'll get there. It would be very, it would be a lot of market movement to occur.
And we have the opportunity in this 22-month period of time to have this conversation again and read the tea leaves a little better at that time.
Right, no, we certainly can. Yeah, it's all hindsight 2020. I mean, I could come back and say, hey, you know, remember what I told you last time, before the prices of the fallen, I come back and say, you know, man, we should have done this
You missed the boat.
We missed an opportunity. I don't know. No, I know, if anybody tells you that they know the exact answer, they're full of it, so.
I think you're report is pretty good that we made a sweet deal in 2015 and 16.
And relative to where the market has been and where it is now, it's still a sweet period.
The state of Texas has the state ever needed to go outside of the state for power, or do we generate enough
We generate it.
within our own grid?
ERCOT generates an adequate amount of power. And it's a combination of all the independent system operators and the union-owned generation and all the renewable power. We've got programs out there for where customers share load, both voluntary and involuntary, so it's a huge ordeal that we pay for. And part of our electricity bills go to ERCOT as the independent system operator.
You know, my feeling is, and I don't have any disagreement with what Doyle has said, but our own budgeting forecasting is showing that prices are going to have to continue to go up. What we sell and the cost of goods that we buy. I don't ever see, you know, sort of like Southwest Airlines, they did a hell of a good job for a few years because they bought jet fuel at a damn low price, but they eventually catches up with you. And, you know, we might not do it tonight, but I just can't imagine it ever being cheaper again.
Thank you.
Alex, this is a consider discuss for possible approval. Are there any other comments, or you think we'll close this out?
Yeah, my comment is that I think we have a little time, and it wants some more discussion actually as to whether we can, say, you know, look at the 2-year option, something like that. Seems doable to me, but, you know, the thing is, you know, we are going to be initially doing a little bit more to get that 2-year agreement.
I would like staff to continue to monitor this, and then down the road, if we read the tea leaves a little better, that we might put in a market watch, or they may give us a recommendation of a market watch that we can.
Yeah, my best guesstimate, and is all it is we will see at least another point ticking up, but past that, I don't know, and we're actually buying into that point already if we go over this agreement stuff.
And my thought is that I think some energy costs are going to come down.
That's hard to say.
Yeah,
Eddie, you want to add something?
Okay.
I'd just like to say, I think the market watch agreement is a good idea because I think yes, it's possible the prices might go down and they might go down, but if they go down, they might go down a little bit, as opposed to the possibility that it could go up, and if it does go up, there's more of a risk that we could end up losing a lot, where the price could go up a lot more than, so we might be, yes, if we lock in the price at a reasonable amount, like the target price that we were looking at, 4.1 cents, but there is a possibility it could go up well over 5, and that opportunity is lost.
So you're saying, from my understanding, yes, sir. So you gave an example of 4.1 cents. And, you know, we say, well, let's get a little greedy and let's wait to 4 cents. And then the next thing we know, we're back to 5, 6 cents. You know, so I think I agree. The greedy side of it.
It secures a window.
Well, yeah, but I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess my question would be how do we arrive at that? You know, how do we pay 4.1 or 4 or what is the break?
Recommendation that I want to make.
Prudential decision.
Yeah, I mean, we're okay now, we 3.7, 3.8, going to 3.7. And we can decide
realistic
on,
to say
it was a 3.8, 3.9.
3.8, 3.9?
I mean, that's,
well, I mean, if we do this market watch, we've got a full year to watch it. So, yeah, it could happen. I mean, we have, if August, okay, let's say we get the rains we had in July and we get them again in August. And it's just really cool. And, I mean, we could see this fall crater. I don't know.
And the risk you take by waiting, by doing the market watch, is that you lose a year and you're subject to whatever's happening at that time.
If you get too aggressive and saying the target price is too low, then it's less likely that the price will ever get to that number, and we'll be in a worse situation.
But we're locked in for a year. This is a contract for a year, so it would be there. We can't come back and say, well, we want to amend it and go up a tenth.
But, the prices are good right now as we speak.
We're hedging our risk.
You see that little point there in Feb 2016? That little drop, that little spike downwards?
Here.
Right there. That was a 1 week period. That lasted 1 week. That's the lowest prices have ever been.
And what was it? Just curiosity.
It was just a very bizarre period.
What time of the year was that?
February. But this, I mean, the time of the year, it can happen at any point in time. And it was just a very unusual price. And I mean, you know, wow,
Well, we
got some great prices. You guys moved. No,
Okay,
we don't have them moved.
the market watch, if we were to enter into that agreement, when does it kick in? Does it kick in immediately, or does it kick in at the end of the current contract?
The contract price, if we were to hit it, let's say y'all set a market watch of 3.9. Let's say 6 months from now we hit it. That would begin in May of 2020.
Oh.
Your existing contracts are in full force. We're not gonna mess with those at all.
So it's at the end?
It's at the end.
Well, hell yeah, then
Yeah.
set it low and then kick it as it
We-
goes
we-
up.
We're golden.
We
Y'all
can-
are golden right now.
We
until
can
April.
have our cake and eat it too.
Right. So this forces us to just price and watch it daily, and try to catch a period.
And it's just an annual contract. And we still got 2 years, 24 months,
Well, it could be
12 months.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Whatever you all decide, you know, it could be one
Minimum,
year.
market watch is a minimum of 24.
Well, the market watch, actually, the way that it's structured,
Well, we only have 22 left.
366 days.
so we would have a year to strike. So let's say, we establish a target price of 3.9 cents. 3.9 cents, or not to exceed 3.9, or not to exceed 4 cents. The term would be at least 24 months.
Starting May of 2020.
Yes.
That's the way to do it, guys.
Right, and not to exceed 84, so it's a big, broad band that we get to look at. But it'll have to start then. We're not gonna, like, just grab
Okay.
2025 and even make it.
Do we ask for 24 months when we initiate or do we ask for 84?
We would strike.
We strike.
So let's say you set a target.
Right, but I'm saying, but for the term of the contract at the,
It's actually an open-ended, it's a spread. So it's
I understand the market watch agreement contract, 24 months. And at that time, you would take, I want to do 3.9 for a 24-month period or an 84-month period. That's my question. Do you set that time period of the market watch target contract price for a longer time, or how does that set?
It depends if we said, basically the price is gonna dictate the term. If we set a 4-cent price and tomorrow the 42-month 4 cents, 41 might be 4.1 cents, but the 42 might be 4 cents. So that it would be, we'll lock in the 42-month period. So this just provides a very wide band of options of terms. So it gives the district a heck of a lot more opportunity to actually reach that target.
You might lock in the cost of the kilowatt, but you're not gonna lock in the transmission cost.
No.
And those don't go down.
Ruben,
So it could eat
could
up-
you show
it
us
could
the
go
slide that
84
has the today's prices on there?
Well, that's gonna happen whatever
That
you're
one.
paying, whatever
That one.
rate you're paying.
Yeah, but if you can negotiate.
So this is what he was talking about, Doyle, so today's prices, you see how the price changes for different term lengths.
So you're saying on
it's-
12 months, you're at 47.27.
Exactly.
If you wanted to do it, you'd be at 45.97, but this is on.
So it fluctuates every day for different term lengths. So what he's looking at is if the target, our target price was 4.387, none of those would qualify except the 72 month. And then that would be our lock-in price.
So we would pick our lock-in price by putting our target price?
No, whatever our target price, if we tell him it's 4 cents, he would price it every day. And if that 4 cents falls in one of those term lengths, that's the term length that we're gonna get.
Okay, so anytime.
In a range between 24 and 84.
So when this is the.
You couldn't get a 4-cent rate on any of those contracts.
So
Not the prices today, no.
So the lowest by this is the 72 month.
Correct.
And so if we put it in there, let's just say if we hit this target, we're automatically going to be locked into a 72 month agreement.
Yes.
Okay, in the reverse for each of these months, if we hit any of those targets over here, that determines the period that we're locked in.
Correct.
I like the slots.
On the market watch, do we just give you the rate, or do we give you the rate and the term?
Give us the rate.
And whatever the term is.
The term is dictated by the rate
What
that
I'm
it
saying
hits.
is, you don't tell him the term. You give him a price, and if that price comes in that day, then that term will be associated with that price. And that's the term you'll end
Well,
up
we're
with.
better off. If we're
Correct.
coming in here, we do something, we get the lower. These are actual numbers or actual. So this is our best deal if we hit the lowest rate for the longest term on our market watch. And we use the number 3.9, it's not even in this graph. It's not even practical.
That's correct. But it's more than we're paying now. It's more than the market is. What's the market right now?
This was
that's
today's.
current market. That's current market.
Oh, so then we want to lowball it and come in under here, so we come in at 0.04.
Right. That would be the market watch strategy. Setting a price lower than current markets, you got a whole year to strike at it.
So the whole thing, so then, if we set, based on this, if we set it at the lowest rate, 4 points, we're gonna automatically lock in a 72-month term.
Based on this, yes, assuming the 72.
So this is without a market agreement, without the market watch agreement. If we were to try to sign for the lowest price right now, we would sign for 72 months and get 4.3.
Okay, but
But
does
with the
that-
market watch, he can price it every day. We tell him, our target price is 4 cents. So he's gonna price it, he's gonna do this process every single day. And if he sees 4 cents in one of those columns, we get the term that's associated with that.
Okay, so,
And it adds
it's
to
done deal.
the existing contract we already have.
Correct.
And very likely it'll be like a 34 month, or it's gonna be an unusual term, like 46 or 33 or something like
And then they
that.
come back in this 72 term and then reshop it add on. Well,
then, I agree with Mr. Houston, that we need to kind of just consider doing come up with a staff recommendation or market watch. And my lowball ideas of bidding things and, figure out something to put it out there and see. And again, I probably already told us, but the market watch period is for how long? 12 months.
Well, the period in the amendment is 12, is 12 months, 366 days.
Okay, so if
We
we
can
took,
change that, we can make it shorter if you don't want to.
no, but my question is, if we did that now and we bet on the come for 12 months, and then 12 months later, we'll have a lot better, or whoever's here will have a lot better idea of what is happening at that time to continue with the market watch or just take the current rate or whatever's happening.
He's recommending a market watch price that's lower than the current prices today. So he's saying that he hopes the prices are going to dip, and if they dip down to the 0.415, he'll lock that price in for whatever the term is and add it to our current contract.
So if theoretically this was February when the price was really low in that window, you had that market watch, that would be your price, and then the term would be dictated by, falls in that slot for the time.
Whatever the term is for the price, and he locks it in, and then you lock it in at your current contract. I think basically, I did not think that was an aggressive policy at first, but I believe it is aggressive, especially in the sense of what the current market is. He's about,
Right, this is definitely, we need help. There's no guarantee we'll even get it.
you may not get it.
Right.
I'm going to make the motion that we enter into a market watch agreement at the proposed 0.41, whatever that is, 0.415.
No, was that the recommendation? That's his recommendation. That's
his
just where we are now.
That's his recommendation.
And if it doesn't,
If it doesn't, it doesn't.
If it doesn't materialize, it expires. The district still has almost a year left.
The market watch expires
Right.
366 days from today,
Right.
according to your contract, or your proposal.
Yes. So the district would still have another, 10 months.
9 months, yeah.
10 months on the existing contract. that they have. So this will, I mean, I can't say exactly what the market's gonna be, but I think this is a good,
There's a
solid.
motion made by Mr. Herb Houston.
I have questions, I'll second it, but, Mr. Houston, I'm questioning, is that the target market that we would like to set for the market watch? We were, at the low part, we were originally paying 0.3821. Now, I think we're, now in a period of 0.3721. So, do we want to do 4.127, whatever it is, or do 3.940?
I think you have to look at it in terms of what the current market is, not what you're paying.
Well, we want to get down below the current market. If we're going to do the current market, then we might as well just buy it now.
But the current market is 0.44. He just showed us a graph that the cheapest price out there for 72 months was 0.44.
is it, prices or kind of go up a little bit during peak time, during peak season? And do they drop in the winter time?
They've gone
Not
down.
necessarily.
In the middle of summer, they've gone down in the middle of winter and vice versa. It's just,
He's just plugging a number in, and it's like a stock ticker price. I'll buy it at, whatever that, at $1 or $2 when it hits there. You buy it and you hit go.
Right.
And
yeah, that was
But
down
if
200
this-
points today. It was up there.
But we can buy this now.
Yes.
We can buy this now, so there's no advantage of setting the market watch at this number. Our market watch needs to be lower than those
Well,
numbers.
it is 0.41. Those are 0.43.
Market watch not to exceed 4150 versus lowest price of 4387 that's on the
Yeah,
board.
it's lower than any of those.
So yeah, it's a price that's lower than actual current market. That's the whole idea of it.
Okay. So, would you repeat the motion, please?
I make a motion to enter into the market watch agreement at the 0.415.
motion made by Mr. Houston,
0.415. Second?
second made by Mr. Buell. For all those in favor?
Aye.
We are. Are there any opposed? For the record, Mr. Avalos is against.
For my curiosity, what were you wanting in mind?
Go with your original idea and just wait. We do have a little bit of time to do this.
Well,
And just,
we don't have legal here, so we can continue the discussion.
there's a motion made and.
And we handle that, but just clarification, we could do that, but yet we're only in that was a 12-month market watch we just did, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're still good.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I guess I need to decide what I want to do. Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by Mr. Wells, for the record, Mr. Alvarez is against. For the record, I'm in favor too, so motion carries.
I thought I heard you say yes already.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 7.
Thank you for your
moving on to
generous
item
amount of
8.
time.
Thank you.
I hope Alexis tell you how to get back.
Item 8, consider and discuss for possible ratification of emergency vac truck rental for wastewater leak in South Carolina on June 30th through July 1st, 2018.
Board members, the memo for the ratification of the vacuum truck rental for Corrections Department to work on opinions of Boulevard Maryland. This rental because the district vacuum truck is safety ups and downs.
Yeah, you already rented.
No. I've got questions.
Yes. There was a motion made by Mr. Avalos for approval to pay this. Do we want to take it into action, or do we want to take it for
Well, we can take a second, but still
Yes.
have discussion after a second, and then, that's when I would have my questions.
Motion made by Mr. Avalos for approval.
For the sake of going into discussion, I'll second.
Thank you.
Second made by Mr. Houston. All those in favor?
No
No?
discussion.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, we're still in discussion.
Yeah, sir, the question I have is, and just for my clarification, on your background cover sheet for us, you say we have a 1 month, parentheses, 28-day contract. Is this a February month? We're in July now.
It's 4 weeks or 7 days. That's the standard for all like 1 month, they say it's 28 days.
That's okay. That's fine.
I didn't notice that we got sales tax on that.
Yeah, that's my next question.
We issued the tax exempt form, and it was not invoiced, it was the rental, there is every time.
What do you mean? We have an invoice here
Yeah,
with tax on it.
that's the quote.
Then how can we approve what you gave us when you didn't give us the actual invoice? You're asking for us to approve $9,417.75. And we're saying, why would we pay $717.75 in sales tax? We don't have to.
Well, we're tax exempt, we're not.
I know that. I'm asking you if you know that.
Yes.
Then why do we have sales tax on this document that we're reviewing for approval?
I think it's a mistake.
Excuse me?
I think it's a mistake. It should-
I don't accept mistakes.
I'm just letting you know why.
Then what would be a mistake? If I understand correctly, we were provided the invoice, but if I understand correctly, you said that you have some other document that doesn't have sales tax on there. Then if that's the answer, is that the answer? Then my follow-up question is, why weren't we provided that document if you're asking us to approve it?
Was after I provide the information for the tax.
July 1 is when you got this, and I would assume that you reviewed it on July 1. Did you not contact them right away? Did you not catch that error that all of us would?
I told him we don't.
And get an email, this is a fax, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is a fax, I believe. And you could have had it faxed in, and you could have had it, the correct document in our packets that was provided last Friday, instead of providing us with a document that's not relative to what you want us to approve. I can support this if we clarify the actual amount that we're supposed to approve. And I would assume that would be $8,700, period.
That's correct. The PO was issued for that.
Just make the motion for that amount.
Well, that's where it needs to be clear in here. The motion needs to be to approve payment of this invoice in the amount of $8,700. Would, Ms. Avalos, would you amend your motion? Would you just amend it to that?
I would amend it to pay $700.
Mr.
Yeah, that's
Houston?
fine.
For the record, motion made by Mr.
That's my
Avalos, seconded
discussion.
by Mr. Houston, all those in
Wait,
favor?
I have a
Yes,
question.
okay.
Why did we rent it?
We needed to do the work on the cleaning of the line for Gulf Boulevard,
Which line?
the main line for Gulf Boulevard.
It was Saturday?
Yeah, well, for example, on Gulf Boulevard, that was one of the points where we wanted to, like, the flow monitoring that we did on July 4th. I mean, one of our proposed sites was Gulf at Capricorn, so the line was filled with 6 inches of sand. So we couldn't even get a reader there, we had to change location. And with that truck being down, I mean, if we try to go.
Both trucks.
No,
Yeah,
this,
exactly, we have to-
this clarify, when was the Sterling put back online? What date?
Bart, do you know?
When did you get the Sterling back? The truck that's working now? June 30th. So you had a vacuum truck working on June 30th, and we did a contract on July 1 to rent another one. Please come up. If you have a comment, please come up. I look for clarification.
In conversation with the collection manager, my understanding is that the Sterling truck is not working 100% all the time. It'll work fine for a few hours, couple hours, it'll go down, it either needs to cool off, or something needs to happen, then it'll fire back up.
That's not the report I got today.
Well, like I said, this conversation I had with the collection manager a couple weeks ago. That they're having an issue.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong.
Jared, you were the one on call that night, that weekend?
Yes, sir, I was on call, and we had trouble, the line wasn't, the hose itself wasn't penetrating, and we had.
On the Sterling truck, I don't know the number of it. It's
33?
33. So you actually had the unit 33, and you took it and tried to use it to clear the lines. That's what I'm understanding. And that was on July 1st or something in that order of when we originated this rental agreement.
So you tried our truck first, our truck failed, and that's when you had to do this.
And then still went to go get the jitter, and still had trouble. Yeah, so I had 2 trucks there.
I don't fault you guys for getting the job done. Please let me make that clear. I don't second guess you in the field at the time. All I'm doing now is to say, okay, we had a truck, just spent a whole bunch of money, came back and did it. And so I understand it was working, and if you have problems with that, then we have another problem. We'll discuss another agenda item on that truck. So I just don't want somebody jumping the gun to enter into a monthly agreement because we can't get our truck working that night, because it's another question of why that unit we just paid for wasn't performing as we paid for it to do.
Right. And what I was told was that our hose line is a 3/4 inch, and we needed a bigger one, which is a 1 inch, and that would have been a little bit more better.
You have a 3/4 inch ID hose on the unit now that doesn't put out quite as much pressure or force as the 1 inch. And the rental unit has a 1 inch ID jetting hose on it, this unit we're renting.
I'm not sure if it's renting, but.
It does have a 1 inch.
I believe so, and also.
Bart, can you clarify?
They rented it, but I need to check it.
You don't know that it has a 1 inch for sure.
I checked it, it has a 1 inch.
Thank you.
Also, the rental, it's able to vacuum underneath the water. It's able to get the sand that's underneath the water. Whereas the one that we have, you have to keep it above the water. So you just vacuum the water, not the sand. So with this new one, I think they're gonna start either tomorrow, maybe Friday, maintaining Gulf Boulevard, to be able to do more effective work than 33 that we have now.
Gentlemen, thank you for all the clarification. I know it perfectly well. The only thing I'll say at this point, use the heck out of that unit that we've got rented right now and clear out all that sand debris and everything you can. I understand, I think it's DP is referred to, I just call like self-priming, something that would actually, it doesn't rely on air vacuum. It actually will take and suck up the solids better and do a much more efficient job. Thank you.
Why would, and someone can answer, why would that line have accumulated so much sand? Has it been just a long period of time since it's been cleaned, or something unusual happened, or what size was the line to begin with?
I believe it's a 15-inch.
15 inch, and you had 6 inches of sand in it?
I think over construction and runoff, in my opinion.
What I understand is that they clean the lines every month. They do preventive maintenance. But the thing is, I believe that they did the preventive maintenance, but since it's a week old, they didn't do a good job on it. They thought they were doing a good job, but I don't think they were. With that 3/4 inch hole.
But see, that
That's what I believe.
but that wastewater line is not supposed to have any type of infiltration into it.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be mop pits, grit, I mean, it's probably a combination of mop pits and grit.
That's a lot.
All this new road construction with sand and stuff, I think that's.
People showering?
Ray, the assistant, the door, the doors application. He says that there, on that area there, they throw a lot of rain and offensive junk in there. And accumulating with the shower. They had a hard time forcing that line in there because once a piece of rag gets clogged up on the jetter, nothing going through.
I know one day I saw the jetter, they pulled out a mop head with the jetter.
And then mop heads not necessarily mean like the real mop head. They call those.
No, this was a real mop head.
Right.
Just
Pieces
a
of
water,
rags and
water
paper
debris.
And all that, water together, that's what they call mop head. White.
I'll call the question. Let's vote.
A motion made by Alex, seconded by Mr. Houston, correct? All those in favor?
Aye.
They are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries.
Thank you very much for everybody's input.
Thank you. Moving to item number 9, consider and discuss for possible approval of a new or used vac truck purchase for the district. I scratched the word used. In my opinion, I think it should be new with warranty.
Yes. On item number 9, I put it in there because at that time, we were talking about a used vac truck that was being that was working fine at that time, but then a few days after that, I guess it broke also. So they brought in a newer vac truck on the same local. So, in thinking of buying a used one,
I'm
they
not in
don't
favor of
recommend to
used
do
one.
that at all.
Used
For
is
that
used,
reason that it's
and
gonna be
warranty
down,
and everything.
especially that same one that they were selling.
Well, that was just one unit.
So, what I want to hear from the board is that we can purchase a new one. We did have a budget of 250. And we'll elaborate on that.
In your packets, in a later agenda item for your May financial report, if we look up,
I think we have 342 for this.
We have it in the budget, we don't have the money.
yes, on item 11 of your agenda for today, on page 5 of the general fund. You can see the collections budget. We had capital outlay, which was the budget for a vacuum truck, a new vacuum truck, which was budgeted for this fiscal year, and we still have a balance of $344,000 available for spending. So I just wanted to advise you.
So do we have the money? We have it in the budget, that doesn't mean we have the money. Do we have the money? So the money's available there.
It's made available back.
Right, and I've been the one saying, let's fix what we got, and bear with me just a minute. Now, unit 33 is the one that's working, is it 32 that's?
33 is the best one.
33 is okay, it functions, and today I was told that, they feel like I asked them, I said, if you come here tonight or tomorrow and you need to use this truck, what do you feel of a comfortableness of this unit performing as expected? And they say, well, 80%. And I think that that's pretty fair given a used anything. A new truck in 6 months is going to be in the 80% area, or 1 year or 2 years, you know, so we're trading off some. Gentlemen, I wasn't here when we bought, what is the unit, the Volvo? I'll call it the Volvo unit. The one, the lemon, the 2000 Volvo.
2008, 9, 8, 9.
2000, in 2000. But unit, no, that's not
He's talking about the Volvo.
the Volvo, 21. The history on that is, it's been a lemon from day one. Yeah.
The other one is 33 is the one that's been the newer one.
Right. But the Volvo, the point I'm making is, my understanding is the Volvo has not really performed in its life, and that's why I'm calling it now the lemon.
Well, according to Mark, there was a better one that lasted a long time until these last years.
It's a 2001 and it's already done what it's going to do for the district. That one was a good truck, but this new one, the 33, the Sterling, that's the one that's in day one. It's been a limit, it's been a problem.
It does, it's early, but the Volvo is the one we have in the shops, you can't keep it running because they don't have the software program to diagnose the motor and the 2000. Right. But my understanding is on that unit, the vac tank on the Volvo truck was refurbished completely, and the vacuuming mechanism on that truck is good. Is that a fair statement? So the problem is with it is the rolling chassis, the cabin chassis is not. So I'm also putting out for conversation. My simple little research is, you know, we can buy a brand new rolling chassis for, you know, 70 grand or under, $50,000 to $70,000. And that refurbished vacuum sections, the refurbished vacuum unit can be put on it. And so we're under 100 grand, even with the speculation of doing that, and even upgrading to the 1-inch hose.
That's part of my recommendation, but I didn't finish it.
I'm so sorry I jumped in there.
We move forward and purchase a brand new one because we need it, and we don't want to be at the right 80, but keep the older model and look into the prices and cost. Maybe there's a good chassis out there for 80,000 or whatnot, and then we can.
I can find you a cabin chassis for half that money.
Okay.
And it will be in good shape that, you know, you'll be dependable on. And even, excuse me, even the newer ones, the newer units, newer trucks have the DEF system and all this other stuff on them that's a lot more difficult to maintain than the old standard trucks that, you know, are not loaded up with all this newfangled stuff. I'm not advocating buying an old, used, wore-out truck, but these cabin chassis are typically box trucks, and they're really not worked hard. They're just day trucks. They're not going across country where they're doing 1,000,000 miles. So you can get something that's, you know, potentially served with some shopping.
Okay, and what I've seen already on the new tractor trucks, we get some of those. It doesn't mean. But I've seen the prices on the new chassis is like 90,000, you know, a new one. But then there's 30 good ones for just the price of that. So what my recommendation is that we purchase a new one, put the bid specifications on the new one with just a standard.
On an all-new back truck altogether.
Yeah.
On an all-new back truck.
All new back truck. Right?
Yes.
Maybe we get a better price with just a standard vacuum pump, a good vacuum pump that we can fix here in Texas.
With the DP, is that the correct terminology, sir?
Sorry?
The DP, is that the
Positive replacement quote.
PD? Positive displacement. That's the one that sucks the sand out like we talked about before.
It's a single engine drive, you don't require 2 engines. However you've driven on the chassis.
This is the gentleman that gave us proposal earlier. Right, so I'm sorry to interrupt again, but go ahead.
So that's what, I wanna recommend that we just put a standard bid out there and we'll still bids on it. And, whatever we just need, that's the vacuum pump, the pressure, jetter, and a good chassis on it that we can replace and fix here in, Texas or the Valley if possible. But that's what, I'm trying to get
International.
2 bids on it, and then we'll get the prices back to the board if you guys approve the purchase of that.
Can I ask a question? With 33, whomever can tell me, is the problem with the sucking mechanism or the truck mechanism?
Nothing right now.
Bart?
Got the skirt?
Yeah, the
Yes.
Starting is 2008. The back engine is a Deutsch engine, it's a German engine. We did have problems back then, about 4 or 5 years ago. And Sturdy Citizen, they're the only ones that have the software to check it. But that's naturally, tear and wear. Now we had issues with the turbo on it and the injector pump.
But that's just,
But
that's
it too
replaced,
is-
running good.
Chassis.
But it too is under capacity and under, I mean, it's not really a
Starting to get over.
Yeah, the
frame on
age and capacity and wear and tear has caught up with it 10 years later.
But then on the Volvo,
That's
the sucking mechanism is good, right?
Yeah, we rehabbed that one in 2013.
In my conversation with Mr. Salinas, he indicated that Sterling truck could probably handle the lighter load here on the mainland. But he said we can't take it across the bridge because once the light comes on, the engine light comes on.
That's a
then
cop
we
out.
start getting all this
That's a
problem.
cop out, man. You get those things fixed.
What I see with that, vacuum truck that doesn't lift, the manholes in the island are like 15 to 20 feet deep. And here in the mainland, they're shallow, like 6 feet.
Then when you're gonna spec the new one, let's get a PD and let's get a 1-inch hose and let's get a single drive and let's not having Deutsch motors and
Okay, and then,
do all that.
we'll keep the 21 and look for chassis and.
On the international
We'll come back to the board
Freightliner
and-
chassis
Yeah.
or
Give you a
something.
report on that. We'll find a good one for a good price.
We might be better off just buying a whole new used one if that's what you're gonna do. We really
That-
think it's
I-
probably buy it for about the same amount of money.
You can, and I researched that some. But it's a pig in the poke. They're selling for a reason.
Use it as used. and equipment.
Yeah, I agree. I can support a new one that would do the job, but then we need 2 units, and I like the idea of going ahead and taking the best of what we have from it and stick another rolling chassis underneath it. And Carlos, I would think even locally, I mean, I talked to the gentleman behind you, they might help us to, swap chassis or something like that, but he hadn't talked to his boss, there's no commitment, but even locally, I think that, there's enough folks that can do that kind of work.
The right chassis for.
Well, it's not necessarily to find the right chassis, so you can give me the wheelbase, and I'll have it in the morning.
Just one thing.
So, come on up, sir, please.
If you're talking about putting on a different chassis, whoever you contract to do the movement of the bodies, the chassis, you need to make sure they have a converter's license to be able to convert that chassis and put that body on that truck. And the converter's license are issued in the state of Texas. So when they build garbage trucks, sewer cleaners, just any type of truck that they put a body on that, they have to have a converter's license. It's a safety precaution, and it's just something you need to know. And then also, the chassis that you're wanting to buy new, put your old body on, that machine has a hydraulic pump on the very front of it to drive the hydraulic system. So whatever chassis you find, you're going to have a front drive PTO on it also. And normal trucks like bread trucks, delivery trucks, things of that.
No.
I just wanted to.
No, that's great information. So you're saying because we're a municipality, we're stuck with the regulations. If it was me, I'd get Mr. Gonzalez down the road to swap it over.
You guys are welcome to do whatever you want.
No, I'm thank you for the heads up.
Safety and compliance.
That's all we have. Does y'all have any questions, comments?
Is this an action item or anything?
Consider, discuss for possible approval from,
Is it for purchasing the trucks, is that what the item?
but we're not having to pay.
Is that what the item is?
Either new or old.
No, we need to go out for bids. We've had an old bid, but it's a year
We
old.
need approval that you guys are going to approve the purchase of a new, not a used one, but a new, with bids and everything that goes with it.
You
We're
wanna,
approving to go out for bids.
approving to go out for bids?
Purchase an actual truck
And
without
then
a
we'll bring
bid.
back the cost on it.
Yes, sir.
So we're moving an RFP?
No.
No, just going out for quotes.
We're
We'll
gonna go
come
for
back and bring it back.
RFP.
I make a motion to approve the going out.
Motion made by Mr. Houston,
Second.
seconded by D. Wells, are all those in favor?
Aye.
There are any opposed, none, motion carried, thank you. Excuse me, item 10, consider and discuss for possible approval of a resolution expressing official intent to reimburse the cost of purchasing and installing installing water meter and related hardware and software from tax exempt obligations to be issued by the Laguna Monterey Water District and other matters related thereunto, resolution number 161-07-18.
So this was a request from the past meeting. There was a discussion about using district fund balance to purchase some meters to start that process. Because of the fact that we have a lot of meters that are failing, and we're manually going out to go read them. And so this is, we contacted our bond counsel, and they prepared this resolution to give us the authority to do that. So it basically says that once we get the funds, we can use some of that to reimburse us for the purchase of the meters.
I move for approval on the resolution, please.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor? There are none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Good to see this project moving. Item number 11, consider and discuss for possible approval the financial report for May 2018.
Questions?
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. D. Wells. The second was by, I don't recall, Mr. Houston.
And if you have anything you want to put in real quick, but it's straightforward.
Yeah, I don't have any comments.
Are all in favor? They are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Good job. You're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
Item number 12, consider and review the expenditures for June 16th through the 30th, 2018. Everyone had a chance to review them. Any comments or discussions? Want to pull one out in particular?
No, I've already had the conversation with Daisy about buying some new ink so we can read.
Yes.
The printer. Move to approve. No, it's just so light. You know, it's either get more ink or I gotta get stronger glasses.
This is for review only, so we're moving on to 13.
Move to accept.
On what page? 3 or 12?
We had a insurance. Water plant expenditure.
Oh.
On three of 9.
He's talking about the monthly financial report.
Oh, we already passed out.
Yeah,
We flew by it.
Is there something that we need to go back to?
Well, I would just,
okay. Yeah, I can answer that. The insurance for the water plant has gone up because that's where we're budgeting the insurance for the water towers. So that was something that wasn't covered in the past, and now it is, and this is where we're accounting for
The new
that.
infrastructure.
As a result of the leased infrastructure on there.
The new infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And also on the same page on the chemicals, we use up all our chemicals, so that's gonna be a problem coming into the summer season.
We're almost close to the end of budget anyway.
That's a better question for knowing, yeah, that's a better question for the, yeah. Oh, that's true. So 200, has already been, encumbered, so, there is an amount on there that, we're using up chemical from what's already, the PO has been issued, but we haven't spent that money, yet. So we have the difference between the actual and the encumbered, which is the PO that's been issued. So that should be sufficient to answer your question.
Comments in closing? Thank you. We'll be moving to item number 13, executive session permitted by the Open Meetings Act, VTCA Government Code Section 551001, ed. sequence under Section 551071, consultation with attorney, Section 551072, deliberation about real property, consider and discuss for possible approval, easement, abandonment, and relocation agreement for Lot 1, Block 1, PI Industrial Park subdivision in a 0.68 acre tract conveyed to PI Industrial Limited by Laguna Madre Water District, deed recorded volume 15480, page 251 of the official records of Cameron County, Texas. Motion to go into executive session with a 5-minute recess at 7:03 p.m. Motion, a 3-minute motion made by Mr. Avalos, seconded by Mr. Houston. All those in favor? We are motion passes. We're in executive session. We'll resume in 3 minutes. Thank you. I need a motion to come out of executive session at 7:17 p.m.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by Mr. Avalos. All those in favor? They are.
Aye.
None opposed. We're out of executive session. Item 14, consideration and action on executive session items if necessary. Are there any actions out of executive session?
Yes. Do we need a motion to the effect of what we've discussed, or to direct staff as discussed in?
I think you need a direction to direct staff as proceeded.
I would make the motion to amend the agreement in our earlier last meeting's action to reduce the easement on the property that's discussed in this agenda item, to reduce the north boundary easement from 20 that we discussed before to 10, and that if there is any other expenses incurred in this agreement ratification, that it be borne by the landowner, not the water district.
I'll second that.
Mr. Dewell, second by Mr. Houston. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All are in favor for the record. Mr. Avalos opposes. Motion does carry. The meeting is adjourned at 7:19 p.m.